Back, everyone, to episode 79 of the Posttopostpod. With me, as always, is my co-host, Chris. Ronan, how are we doing?
What's happening, brother?
Another busy week ahead of us, but not as too crazy as last week. Last week we had to jump right into it.
Yeah, we're wrapping up a ton of these free agent signings and a few trades, not as many as last week. I mean, we really dove into the draft and all the moves that people made to shift up and down, draft position.
Yep. So, want to just jump right into it, or you got anything going on?
Dude, this weather's been insane.
It's been crazy.
It's so hot. It's nuts.
It's dying. Like, my work outfit doesn't breathe, so I just stand there and just sweat.
Oh, that's terrible.
It's like, I'm so uncomfortable.
I'm in like coolers all day, but like this heat is killing the coolers. Like a lot of my stores have had to have like AC repair technicians come out and cooling companies. Yeah, one of the guys had to pay $10,000 for their cooling system to be fixed up.
God,
crazy.
Oof.
Nuts.
No, I am like the opposite of a bear. Like, you know, bears hibernate for the wintertime. I just want to hibernate for the summertime and wake me up when fall
that's
happens.
Such a bad idea. So you just live fall, winter, spring?
All for it. I hate the heat. Hate the heat.
Dude, summer is the best time of the year.
What do you mean?
I don't like 4 hours of sunlight.
I am so uncomfortable. I'd rather deal with just 4 hours of sunlight than to deal with
That's a
this
miserable existence. I would hate that.
I'm miserable all day in this heat. So what would be the point?
Oh, that's disgusting. It's never this hot, dude. It's usually like 85 max.
Yeah, true. It is. It's bad.
It's been really bad. It's been like mid 90s all week for like, I want to say 5 days straight, and now it's going for another like 7.
I went to the gym yesterday. Yeah, I think it was yesterday. I was there for like an hour and a half, came back in my truck. My truck has the temperature gauge on there, and it was like 103 degrees inside the truck. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, I've been going at 5 a.m. now. I started getting back in the swing of things doing that. I was supposed to skate today at 5:30 after work, and they actually ended up canceling that, so that kind of stunk, but...
Rough.
Yeah.
Do be like that sometimes.
I do. But, I mean, we can't really complain all that much. Look at England and Spain and Portugal. They're getting whacked, and they're not even built to withstand this kind of heat in England. It's nuts. The buildings there are all brick. I don't know if we talked about this last episode or not.
I doubt it.
They're all brick there, so it just like retains the heat and just holds the heat in. It doesn't no ACs, nothing, man, because they're used to Seattle basically, just rain and clouds.
That's weird. That's a weird setup. Like Japan, when I was there, I was realizing that every place has AC. That's because in the summertime, it's an island, so summertime it's hot as shit. That's why everyone has AC. But in the wintertime, no one has heat. Like you just pretty much wear sweaters in the house and cover up.
Yeah, Brazil's like that too. It's so tropical there that they don't have like heating systems because you never need it. It got so cold down there, a lot of people were dying from like hypothermia and stuff.
Are you shitting me?
It didn't get like cold like here, but like 40 there can kill people because there's no way to keep your house warm.
Yeah.
So
wow,
it's nuts.
That's crazy to think about.
Yeah. So very similar to England, but the opposite end of the spectrum. You know, the country's just not built to be in hot temperatures and cold temperatures.
Same with the people, I guess. Go down when I was in Florida. It was like 65, and I'm like in shorts and t-shirt, just sweating. And then all the Floridians down there, just like in hoodies, just freezing cold. It's a different type, you know.
Yeah.
I guess if you're used to it.
I feel like when you're tan too, you get cold easier. If that makes any sense, I don't know. When I get like a tan or a sunburn, and it's like cool out, it's like normal temperature, I would be fine normally, but like I would need like a sweatshirt. I'd be cold, you know.
I'm sure there's a science to that, but I have no idea.
Not me, me either. Not Bill Nye the Science Guy over here.
Nope. But you want to get into some hockey news here?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Let's do it.
We had a few trades that went down this week. The Arizona Coyotes have traded defenseman Ty Emberson to the New York Rangers in exchange for defenseman Patrick Nemeth, a 2025 second-round pick, and a conditional 2026 second-round pick.
Still moving picks, by the way.
Yeah, they're definitely looking at the future here. The conditions were a little weird on this one, I believe. I don't remember. I didn't jot down the notes. I don't know too much about either of these defensemen either. I think it's more of a trade for the future and to get some picks into Arizona. I think that they are still trying to recover from, I believe there was a penalty to the team that cost them draft picks for something a couple years ago. I forget what it was, but put myself on blast there. You can cover the next one.
The Vegas Golden Knights have traded forward Max Pacioretty and defenseman Dylan Coughlin to the Carolina Hurricanes in exchange for future considerations. Another Golden Knights move where they just get rid of players and just get nothing in return.
Yeah, it's really all about how much we've traded away to bring this guy in, and then we say, man, we're done with him. It's kind of like Toy Story, like the nightmare that Woody has, and he's like, I don't want to play with you anymore. And they just give away Pacioretty for nothing. But I tell you what, man, Carolina's going to look so good. Max Pacioretty coming in, Brent Burns coming in. They're going to have that star power that they seem to have been lacking. Like, they get a lot of production out of every single guy on that team, but there's no one that really puts them over the top.
Nope.
And I think they just went out and got 2 guys that can really solidify that and give them a lot of veteran playoff experience as well. To jump back to the Arizona Coyotes thing that I butchered, they had to give up their second-round pick, which was 49th overall in 2020, and their first-round pick in the 2021 draft because of, I believe they were, like, scouting too young and, like, dealing with players that weren't eligible to be, like, selected and like, you know, promoted to the NHL. I don't know.
Interesting.
How to explain it better, but yeah. So that's why they're trying to get some more draft picks in the future because they had to lose a few.
Oof.
Moving right along, though, the Ottawa Senators have traded forward Connor Brown to the Capitals in exchange for a 2024 second-round pick here. I don't know too much about these either.
Senators picking up a second-round pick, though. That's nice.
They're going to need it.
They're going to need it, 100%. Not next year, though. The year before, the year after. So they're definitely looking futuristically for the Ottawa Senators. I guess with Connor Brown, too, it's a good move. Be like, hey, I'll give you a second-round pick, 2 years. Be like, I'll take that. Take that any day. But let's move on to the New Jersey Devils. They traded defenseman Ty Smith and a 2023 third-round pick to the Pittsburgh Penguins in exchange for defenseman John Marino. John Marino getting a round pick, and Ty Smith is pretty interesting to me. He's a good defenseman for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So hopefully he could do the same for New Jersey Devils with PK Subban might not coming back. I don't know what the deal with that is. So
yeah, the Devils sent Ty Smith over to Pittsburgh. So are you talking John Marino?
John Marino, yeah.
I got you. So he's a good defenseman for Pittsburgh?
Yep.
Ty Smith, 114 games played, 43 points in 2 seasons. That's not too bad. Like, that's a good amount of NHL time for a young guy like that. So hopefully that's a decent trade there. I think they'll definitely be bottom pair guys.
Yeah. Moving on from that, the Montreal Canadiens, they traded defenseman Jeff Petrie and forward Ryan Poehling. I said that right? Poehling?
That's how I would say it.
Yeah. Ryan Poehling to the Pittsburgh Penguins in exchange for defenseman Mike Matheson and a 2023 fourth-round pick. Interesting move here. I like what the Pittsburgh Penguins picked up. And then Mike Matheson, another defenseman going to the Montreal Canadiens, who we've talked about before, at least 5 times now, where we're going to see a good Canadiens team this next season. Like, they were just fucking plagued last season. I see that smile.
I don't know. You really think we're going to see a good Canadiens team this season?
I think we're going to see a good Canadiens team next season.
What makes you say that?
Because the team's just going to be, hopefully, like, fully recovered, fully repaired from all the fucking injuries and shit that happened to them last season. And we're going to see the Canadiens of 2 seasons ago when they made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. Though, that season was a fluke and a half because all the Canadiens had to do was play all the Canadian teams.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're going to be good, but think about how much they've changed now. Suzuki, Kirby Dach, Cole Caulfield, like, that's their real core now. They have Dadonov and Druin to build around them. Brendan Gallagher's still playing. Their defense doesn't look good at all. It's Matheson, Savard, Edmondson, Baron, Harris, and Chris Weidman. And then, I mean, in net, you got Carey Price and Jake Allen, which is kind of nuts to think about. Like, that tandem's still active there. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't see these young guys getting it done, especially coming out of the East, which is going to be a very strong division again, where you need to get 100 points to make playoffs like you did this year. So, I don't know. I don't think this will be the year, but in the next 5, I could definitely see it. They'll be getting back there.
Some moves. A little more moves, and then
I think getting Jeff Petrie out of there is pretty good too, though. But you did give away a decent prospect in Ryan Poehling.
Yeah,
or Poehling, however you say it. I don't know much about Mike Matheson. Do you know anything on him or no?
No, not too much on him. But did Carey Price say he was coming back?
Yeah, I can dig into that too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything, and I don't think there's any reason for him to really pick one way or the other right now. He's got a few months to decide, right?
100%. Yep. So while he does that, we have the last trade of the night, or for our night. It's the Columbus Blue Jackets. They traded forward Oliver Bjorkstrand to the Seattle Kraken in exchange for a 2023 third and fourth round pick. Nice.
Yeah, Bjorkstrand was a really good player. I'm glad to see him,
Mm-hmm.
be mentioned again here.
Yep, and Blue
2
Jackets,
picks too.
Yeah, Yep, for next year too.
This
So,
definitely opened up the cap space that they needed for Patrick Laine and Johnny Gaudreau's contract that we're going to get into later on.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Canadians are still waiting to hear from Price on what he's going to do. He really only played 5 games in April last season. He won the Bill Masterton Trophy last year, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't know what he's going to do, and it's kind of interesting that they don't know that because that can change your decisions on draft day in the offseason, what your plans are. Are we rebuilding? Are we drafting a goalie? Like all those kind of things, but it's kind of weird that they don't really know what he's going to do yet.
Right.
Seattle Kraken are actually looking pretty good, I think. I don't know if, this year is going to be the year for them. I think they're still not going to be in, but I think that the moves that they've made are going to make them look pretty good. But
I was gonna try for this week to do like a team breakdown, but there's too much stuff still going on right now that I feel like if I were to do it even this week, by next week when we record, it'd be somewhat different. So I'm just gonna wait a little bit.
yeah, I'd say probably like the third week of August, we'll probably start rolling those out for you guys. We'll do each division leading up to the start of the season. We can definitely touch on each team and the moves they've made today a little bit.
Right.
We do have a couple weeks between now and the third week of August, so probably like 4 more episodes. We could probably mix something in and touch on things a little bit once the lines are a little bit more set.
Right. Exactly. There's just been so many moves that even I'm confused. Talking about Montreal Canadiens, I'm like, wait, who's on their team again?
Yeah, you ready to get into some?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do some signings here.
So we have we're gonna do these in alphabetical order by teams. We didn't do these by chronological order.
Yeah.
So the Anaheim Ducks signed their center Ryan Strome to a 5-year, $25 million contract. That's a $5 million AAV. And right winger Frank Vetrano to a 3-year, $10.95 million contract, a $3.65 million AAV.
Anaheim Ducks picking up some players there. Ryan Strome, that 5 years, pretty big. It's funny because I was actually watching Anaheim Ducks some of their games, some of their highlights a few days ago, and I forgot about like the whole Zegras, Michigans, and him and who's with Zegras there too?
Sonny Milano.
Is it Milano? No,
Troy Terry.
Troy Terry. The whole Troy Terry and Zegras little combination that they have going on, I'm like, holy shit, that's right. I don't know how that just blew by the wayside for me, but I was watching, I'm like, that's right, they have that. The whole, it was Troy Terry is in front of the net, and then here comes Zegras just like behind the net, just kind of pops it over the back, and then here he is to like slam it in.
That was Milano. Milano finished that one.
Oh, that was Milano?
But Terry assisted or finished a couple of nasty passes from Zegras this season, too. That highlight reel he sent along was really cool.
Unreal. So, I don't know. Maybe Anaheim Ducks is trying to work around him. Maybe around that combo, maybe, and grab players for them.
Oh, absolutely. I think that they're going to be the second line in the grand scheme of things because, like, those 3 players in general play really well together. So putting them out there and letting them develop as your second power play unit or something like that, let them get some ice time, some touches together. I think that's a great idea. They really seem to be picking up the scraps from the New York Rangers here. Strome and Vetrano both coming over from there. Strome had been with the Rangers for 4 seasons, Vetrano for 1. Vetrano's numbers just really haven't seemed to pop. I don't really understand the value and the overpayment, in my opinion, for these 2 players. But, I mean, hey, you're signing a bunch of young guys and you're doing league minimums for a bunch of these guys, so you got to spend the money somewhere, right?
Right.
That's the way I see that.
We're going to move on to the Arizona Coyotes. They picked up, or I wouldn't say picked up, but left wing Bakanji Imama, 1 year, $750,000 contract. I was actually trying to look into him before we even started recording, and I kind of messed him up with a few other people. But Bakanji Imama, we did talk about him last season at one point. And his story coming to the NHL is pretty insane. Where's you have him up there? Where's he? He was born in like the condo, right? Something insane like that. Or he's from Montreal. I know that much. But wasn't it like?
Yeah, he was born in Montreal, and his father immigrated to Canada from the Congo. Yeah,
from Congo. Yeah. So it's just
his whole family did. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that just insane? You come from like a country that doesn't know. I mean, Montreal though. I'm sure he grew up with all hockey around him, but the story for him to just get to the NHL the way he did though, it's pretty insane.
Yeah. Yeah, he really grinded it out. He's, I guess paid his dues and played a lot of time in the AEHL, the ECHL, and the QMJ back in the day.
Yep. His stats don't really reflect much.
That's not really his role, though, I don't think. I think
Yeah.
he's more of a, like, grit,
Grinder, yeah.
get the puck in deep kind of guy.
Yep, 100%. So hopefully he gets the job done, or a lot of jobs done for the Arizona Coyotes. I'm going to move on to the Buffalo Sabres. Left wing Victor Olofsson has signed a 2-year, $9.5 million contract, which is a $4.75 million AAV. Do you know anything about Olofsson?
Yeah, a little bit. Born in 1995, 27 years old. This is all from the website right now. Only played with the Sabres for the past 4 seasons now. 188 games played, 55 goals, 127 points. I like him a lot as a left winger. I feel like he reminds me of Jesus Christ, not Rasmus Dahlin, Rasmus Ristolainen, I believe, played for the Buffalo Sabres. I think they're very similar in their game. He's actually from Sweden, so I always like the Swedish players, those Eastern European players. I think they really have a lot that their country brings to the table in the NHL in general. Like a lot of these Swedish players really know how to play and know what it takes.
Right.
That Swedish hockey league over there gets the job done really well.
Nice.
In drafting and developing them. But yeah, that's all I really got on him. I think the contract is pretty good for a guy like that. You have a lot of extra cap space. Sabres in the same kind of situation as the Anaheim Ducks, paying a lot of guys $750K. So smoke him if you got him.
Got him.
Calgary Flames, if you're all set with Buffalo.
Yeah, let's do it.
Defenseman Nikita Zadorov decided not to shop around, I guess. He got a 2-year, $7.5 million contract at $3.75 million AAV.
So the Flames were able to keep someone?
Yeah, I guess maybe the cap space they opened up with Johnny Gaudreau going off the books, they were able to, give Zadorov a little more and what he actually wanted. We're going to get into their organization a little later on, so maybe we don't spoil anything and keep moving right along.
Keep it moving.
Chicago Blackhawks signed their forward center Max Domi to a 1-year, $3 million contract.
Got really quiet after that.
Yeah, I was sending it over to you.
Yeah, I know. I'm just okay. Throwing jokes.
Okay.
Max Domi. I like this $3 million contract, 1 year for Chicago Blackhawks, who probably doesn't have a team still currently. Is probably the third player on the team. Number 3? It's him, Kane, and Taze right now for the Chicago Blackhawks organization currently. I like this $3 million contract. It's nothing huge. It's a good amount for Max Domi. I think he played really well for the Montreal Canadiens. He's had his time. I think his stats have been kind of falling as of late. But maybe he can get back with the Chicago Blackhawks organization. Maybe get that. He's one of the for Max Domi for the Chicago Blackhawks currently. I think he'd be a first line type of guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably say second or third personally, but I do think, like you said, his stats definitely fell off when he came over to Carolina. I think the talent pool was a lot bigger there, and I think it's going to be a much similar situation to how it was in Columbus. When Max was there, he is gonna be one of the top guys there. He's been on 5 NHL clubs now, so a bit of a suitcase. He's been in the league for a lot longer than I thought. It's been about 7 years now, and 5 NHL teams. I really hope that doesn't say anything about him being, a coach killer, like bad for the locker room. But like to see him bounced around that much, like kind of weird, right?
Right.
So we'll see. Going to be interesting to see him with that organization.
Right.
Definitely does. It's something to look at.
Yep. So moving on from that, we got the Colorado Avalanche. They signed defenseman Josh Manson to a 4-year, $18 million contract, which is $4.5 million AAV. And they also signed left wing Arturi Lehkonen to a 5-year, $22.5 million contract, which is $4.5 million AAV. I like this. Josh Manson, Arturi Lehkonen. The Colorado's solidifying these two big guys here. I don't. With Josh DeKemper leaving, I just like a solid goaltender they need. Because I don't know, they're not. Colorado Avalanche currently hasn't really moved much of any big player, so they're just kind of like staying the same. They've become like a Tampa Bay Lightning, where like even in this offseason, it's just been like, okay, you might trying to stay the exact same as you were last season.
Yeah, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. You got the job done with who you had, and like you said, just mirror Tampa Bay's model, and hopefully make a little mini dynasty out of it. Let's say, right? Get a couple more cups under your belt. But yeah, locking these two guys up was definitely good. We're still waiting to see on Nazem Kadri. I feel like with how long this has been, he's probably not going to go anywhere else because I haven't heard any rumblings of teams reaching out or anything like that, any news at all. So
they might be trying to find something.
And I mean, they're pretty set up defensively. They got Francouz and Georgiev for a backup now, so that's going to be an interesting tandem to watch next season. Josh Manson coming over at the trade deadline. Same thing with Arturi Lehkonen, actually. I didn't even realize. So 2 guys that came over this season that they want to keep around for a little bit. For the same value, too. Just 1 extra year for Lehkonen.
Nice.
You know?
Yeah, if you see those UFAs, we're going to talk about UFAs later on, but there's a lot of UFAs on that list that you just kind of wait. Like, teams are just kind of waiting to see what they have for cap space. And I mean, Patrice Bergeron's on there, but we've heard that the Boston Bruins are working on a contract with him. So, like, what was the thing you were just telling me? Like, the UFAs were just like, because what's his name? Mikko Koskinen was still on the UFA, and I'm like, how is he still on UFA if he's going to be over in?
Yeah, it has to do with if you're leaving the NHL. Basically, when you get over to the other league, you're technically still a UFA for the NHL, I think, until the season starts. And then once the season starts, you're now not a free agent for the NHL. If you want to come back mid-season, you have to clear waivers again. So your team that you are under contract with, if you weren't a UFA, they would have to let you go to waivers first, and then other teams could pick you up. If you decide now he's done with the overseas league, he wants to come back to the NHL, he just goes to the open market. He's a free agent because he wasn't under contract. But if he was, in order to come back, he'd have to clear waivers, and another team would probably pick him up.
Interesting.
But let's go to the team that definitely won the offseason so far, Columbus Blue Jackets. They got left wing Johnny Gaudreau from the Calgary Flames. He ended up coming here of his own volition, though. 7-year, $68.25 million contract, a $9.75 million AAV. Shortly after, they inked up right winger Patrick Laine to a 4-year, $34.8 million contract, $8.7 million AAV. And they also shored up the blue line with defenseman Eric Goodbranson. 4-year, $16 million contract, $4 million AAV.
Locking people up.
Yeah,
setting
up for success, setting up for the future. A few draft picks, I think, came in, too, earlier. So I think that they're going to be looking pretty good. And it's kind of nuts to see how quickly an organization can turn around with just 2 names.
Right. But who knows? I had a few coworkers I was talking to this week about the whole Johnny Gaudreau situation. I'm like, yeah, but can you bring him to the playoffs? I'm like, I don't know. He's not... Johnny Gaudreau is a hell of a player, but I don't think him in general will take a entire organization to the playoffs. So I think we'll see a good Columbus Blue Jackets team, but I don't know. Are they going to be a playoff contending team again?
I think I'm just going to keep repeating myself. Like this entire offseason, it's just going to be the East is too strong for anyone else to break into, the top 8 unless. There's some other moves that shake up the top 8 that change things drastically, Right. I don't think – I agree that I don't think – if they were in the West, I would say yes. Johnny Gaudreau with Patrick Laine on his line. Merzlikins in net is a little iffy for me. Zach Werenski's on the blue line. Like, we completely forgot about him. Yep. I think that out in the West, they could probably crack into the playoffs. But out this way, man, I don't see it. There's just too many good teams out here. Right now, it's just such a balanced league, I think.
Interesting.
But, yeah.
All right.
Let's go Blue Jackets.
Yeah. Jump on that bandwagon. So we got the Dallas Stars. Moving on to the Dallas Stars. They signed left winger Mason Marchment to a 4-year, $18 million contract, which is $4.5 million AAV. I like that sign by Dallas Stars. I don't know. I really got nothing really to add to this. Just a solid signing.
I think he's a great pickup coming over from the Florida Panthers. I don't have too much on him stat-wise. He's only really been in the league for 3 years, but he's more of a prospect than anything else. But he seems like he can lump some minutes in the NHL, and I think it's definitely a good sign for the Dallas Stars. Maybe a bit of an overpayment, though, in my opinion. 4 years, $4.5 million. Yeah. Kind of a lot for a prospect at the end of the day.
Moving off that, we have the Detroit Red Wings. They signed right winger Andrew Kopp to a 5-year, $28.13 million contract, which is $5.63 million AAV. And then they also signed defenseman Ben Sherratt to a 4-year, $19 million contract, $4.75 million AAV. Andrew Kopp, Ben Sherratt. I like that move from Detroit Red Wings. We've been talking about Detroit Red Wings lately, and they look like they're on the upswing here.
Yeah, like I said, Stevie Eisman's got a plan, man, and I think he's really putting it into effect. He's got the young guys. We've always said that, and I think now he's really going after the other pieces that can fit in around them on the veteran side or a little bit more experience. Andrew Kopp's only 28 years old. Ben Sherratt's a little bit older, 31. Played it really well for the Canadians. I honestly didn't even realize that he went over to the Florida Panthers, though. 2 goals, 6 assists, didn't really do too much there. But again, going from an organization where you're, a top couple line player and you move into the Florida Panthers and you get kind of buried a little bit with the talent pool they have there.
Yep. 100%.
But those two, David Perron, and then the young guys they're building around. Peter Mrazek's in net. No, he's with Chicago. I'm going to get that mixed up for a while.
I think, did he go to Chicago, right?
I think you're
Peter
right.
Mrazek, yeah. There's been so much.
But it's definitely Nedeljkovic and someone else. I forget. But I think they'll do all right. It won't be anything special. And Nashville Predators.
The Preds.
Inked
My guy.
Inked up right wing Nino Niederreiter to a 2-year, $8 million contract, $4 million AAV. And goalie Kevin Lankinen, a 1-year, $1.5 million contract.
That's a... I like Lankinen. That feels like a steal for me. 1.5 mil for Lankinen. I would have thought I guess no. Now I'm really thinking about 2 mil maybe. But so 1.5 is it's still pretty good. I like Kevin Lankinen for the Nashville Preds. They need something. They need a good backup for UC Saros. They had Connor Ingram. I don't know what this means now because I thought Connor Ingram solidified his spot as the backup for UC Saros. But if you're gonna sign Kevin Lankinen, does that mean he's now the backup and they're gonna send Connor Ingram back down, or are they sending Kevin Lankinen back down?
No, I mean you signed him to a 1.5 mil. I don't think you're sending him down. They did have very similar stats. Lankinen with a 3.5 and a .891, and Connor Ingram a 3.6 and a .913. I think Ingram has much less NHL experience than Lankinen. I think he got a lot of starts, and he played 69 games, last season for the Chicago Black. I mean, in his career for the Chicago Blackhawks, so 32 to 37 games a season. I don't know. I think 1.5 is right. I want to say it's high. You want to say it's low. So I guess that means it's just right? Maybe, Goldilocks and the Three Bears.
Maybe keep. That's weird to say this. Maybe keep Connor Ingram down on the bond to maybe mature a little bit more.
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like he's been down there a lot. That's why I thought, especially after last season when
he has been. But I mean, some guys just never come up. So
yeah, unfortunately. We'll see. Moving on from the Preds, we have the New Jersey Devils. They signed left winger Andre Palat to a 5-year, $30 million contract, which is $6 million AAV. Then they also signed goalie Vitek Vanacek to a 3-year, $10.2 million contract, $3.4 million AAV. Big from the New Jersey Devils. I like the Vanacek move. I like the Andre Palat move. I like both of these moves.
I do too, but for why? I just don't know what the Devils are really going to do here. You're going to throw Palat on your top line, definitely. Jack Hughes is going to center your second line. Nico Hischier nasty. He just moved on from Pavel Zacha. Hall is really going to slot in, probably your bottom 6, I would say. Yep. Dougie Hamilton's your top defenseman. That doesn't seem too great to me personally. Yep. No offense meant. Yep. And you got Mackenzie Blackwood and Vitek Vanacek.
Yeah, I just thought about that. How much is Mackenzie Blackwood getting?
I'll check that now. I just don't know. What are the Devils really going to end up doing from all this,
Yeah. You're just kind of are they just going to try to stack up and just see what the hell happens?
I don't think that's what they're doing. I think they're just too young to really get anything done. It's just kind of a waste right now. I think they need a few more years for their people to grow and kind of just embrace the suck.
I don't know. It's just Devils are just picking up. It's weird to me that PK is just still sitting there.
Yeah, I don't know. He's in the same realm as Kadri where it's been so long. And I haven't heard any rumblings of people looking, but Kadri's on the up, and I think PK's on the down. Maybe no one's interested in PK. The Devils are like, hey, we don't really want to sign you for X amount of dollars that you're looking for. Mm-hmm. But I mean, he's a face of the league. He's definitely going to get a team. It's just a matter of what number is he going to land at.
Right.
Mackenzie Blackwood sitting at a 2.8 salary cap hit.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And you're going to sign Vanacek for more money?
Oof. Yeah, that is kind of interesting. That makes a little weird dynamic, I guess, in the locker room, right?
I'd be kind of mad if I was Mackenzie Blackwood.
You signed your contract when you did. I mean...
Yeah, true.
It is what it is, right?
Yep, it do be like that sometimes.
Yeah.
But again, I'll be interested to actually get down to the breakdown for the New Jersey Devils and see where they're at.
I will not be interested.
Well, I will be. That's 50% of this table right now.
Fuck New Jersey.
Don't want to go down that rabbit hole again. Moving on from New Jersey, we have the New York Rangers.
Fuck New York.
All right, you're just gonna say fuck everyone at this point. They signed Vincent Trocheck as reported last episode, 7-year contract. Numbers were finalized, 7-year, $39.38 mil contract, which is a $5.63 mil AAV. They also signed goalie Yaroslav Halak to a 1-year, $1.55 million contract. I feel like Halak has just kind of been bouncing around, but getting solid contracts. He got bossed around to Vancouver and got a solid contract.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting paid what he should get paid for the job he's doing, but I mean, he's coming in and being like a consistent backup no matter what. Like, he kind of fell off a little bit, and then when he came to the Bruins, he had a stellar year, kind of bumped his value back up, and now he's just doing his thing, suitcase back and forth.
Might as well. If you're going to get the money, right?
Yeah, Vinny Trocheck coming in, too. That's a big one for them. I think that's going to help the Rangers a lot. Maybe it'll get him over the hump, but I feel like he kind of slotted in as one of those guys on the Hurricanes roster that just kind of filled a gap, you know?
Yeah, the Rangers...
Weird moving on from Georgiev.
Weird. Yeah. There's been a bunch of, like, weird moves here. But, yeah, Georgiev I feel like is weird because you had Shesterkin, Georgiev. Solid tandem. But, like I was just saying, Georgiev's not going to get that starting role.
Yeah.
You know, he's not going to get a lot of starts, so he wanted it. And I guess...
I don't think he's going to go get him over Francouz.
Halak's fine. Halak is perfectly fine sitting on the bench for 1.55, you know? I would be too.
I don't think he's going to sit on the bench, though. I could see them slotting him in as a close to a 1A, 1B. He is definitely going to play less than Shesterkin. Mm-hmm. But going back to Georgiev, I don't think he went to Colorado looking for start time. Like, he's not starting over Francouz.
No.
I think he probably went there for money at the end of the day. I don't know. It's kind of nuts. Kind of weird.
Guess we'll see what happens come next season. Do you want to do the Ottawa Senators?
Yeah, they got one of the other bigger fish on the market here. Right winger Claude Giroux, 3-year, $19.5 million contract, $6.5 mil AAV. Very nice value for a name like Claude Giroux. I think that's a hometown discount there, too, which is kind of nice. Mm-hmm. They also locked up center Josh Norris to an 8-year, $63.6 million contract, $7.9 mil AAV.
So this
fatty paycheck.
The Claude Giroux was interesting because weren't we saying? I thought it was last episode, the episode before that. I thought I read something where Claude Giroux was contemplating, or someone said he was contemplating retiring. So the fact that he signed for a 3-year Ottawa contract was interesting to me because wasn't I saying where's Claude Giroux from? And he's like, oh, it's from Ottawa. I'm like, oh, maybe he's gonna do like a year there and just like retire at home. But the 3-year contract was like, oh, yeah, I got another 3 years in me.
Yeah, I think he does. I don't remember hearing any rumors that he wanted to retire. I think he's got some more gas in the tank. I think he's been around a long time, yeah, but he's still producing at a high offensive level. He'll probably rock like top, probably second line minutes, I would think.
Yep.
This Josh Norris guy, though, kind of nuts. He's first season up was the COVID year, 3 games played, +2, nothing else on the stat sheet. 56 games in 21 and 66 games in 22. He's got 52 goals and 90 points over 2 seasons. That's pretty friggin' good for a guy that's 23 years old.
Yep.
Really and I mean, but that is so much money for a 23-year-old kid. $7.9 mil every year for an 8-year contract. That's nuts.
I'd be 23 and having that money.
Oh my God.
What would
That's
you do?
insane. I would play in the NHL. That'd be sick. I would be like, you don't have to pay me. You have to pay me league minimum. I'll be here.
I'll pay you to play
I'll reimburse
in the
you. That's sick.
Yeah, big come up here for the Ottawa Senators.
Let's see where they end up going. They'll be an interesting team to track this year. I don't expect anything, wild, but I do want to see where they kind of end up.
Mm-hmm. Another team we're going to jump into that I want to know what the hell is going to happen to them.
This is another team that does not interest me at all. Another New Jersey Junior.
100%. The Philadelphia Flyers. They signed left wing Nikolai Delorier to a 4-year, $7 million contract, which is $1.75 mil AAV. And they also signed right winger Kasperi Kapanen to a 2-year, $6.4 mil contract, which is a $3.2 million AAV. So Delorier and Kapanen to the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah, Kapanen had himself a pretty good year with the Penguins last year, so he made some good money off of that. Weird to see him go, but like we talked about earlier, definitely open up the cap space for the guys that they needed to sign.
Yep.
It's not going to do much.
No.
There's not much to help these guys.
No. I don't know what the Flyers are doing.
I want to see who their 2 goalies are because we're going to cover in a minute. Martin Jones is not going to be there anymore.
Is Carter Hart going to be there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Carter Hart's their guy.
That's like, man, after the season he had last season and the season before, I was actually just watching the Lake Tahoe game. This is the Bruins. Literally this morning.
Yeah, you can't really judge a guy off of a
I'm not talking
Winter
about.
Classic
I'm not
game.
talking about one game though. But he was like that, like literally that whole season.
I mean, for one of the worst teams in the league, a 3.16 and a .905 isn't all that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, 45 games for, a 23-year-old too. He's very young. Season before was definitely shit. I mean, 27 games played, 3.67 and 8.77. I wouldn't say he had a bounce back year, but he's back to league average right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's averaging at a .905, and I mean his first 2 years he really shined. So I think that they had much higher expectations for the guy than what he should have been. It's really at the end of the day the team in front of him too. It's not all Carter Hart, I don't think. They currently have what's his name? Felix Sandstrom as their backup.
Can we go back to the Calgary Flames because I have NHL just posted this by the way. So this is huge. This is Matthew Tkachuk trade.
Breaking news, yeah.
Yep. You ready for this? Okay. Are you ready for this? Because I'm reading it just like holy shit. So this literally just happened.
Wait. Let me guess. He's going to St. Louis?
No.
Oh, he's not going to St. Louis. All right, this is going to be juicy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, so this just happened. I'm reading it right now. Matthew Tkachuk from the Calgary Flames was traded to the Florida Panthers on today for forwards Jonathan Huberdeau and defenseman Mackenzie Weegar.
No.
Huberdeau and Weegar for Matthew Tkachuk.
That's it? No picks?
No picks.
I was just going to say, Tkachuk going there makes a lot of sense.
Oh, wait, hold on. On the bottom here, the Flames also received forward prospect Cole Schwindt and a conditional first-round pick in the 2025 NHL draft.
Damn, conditional first is pretty good.
The Panthers also receive a conditional fourth-round pick in the 2025. There we go.
So, I was first going to say Tkachuk is a good backfill for Claude Giroux leaving the Florida Panthers. Contract probably not the same value, but you can shift some things around. To see Huberdeau and Mackenzie Weegar leaving is insane to me.
Insane.
That
Huberdeau
might be
leaving.
That might be what saves Calgary's, offseason right now because they look like shit with all these guys wanting out.
100%.
So Zadorov was locked up. Now you're going to have Mackenzie Weegar on the blue line.
And Huberdeau.
Coming in as a forward set. That's going to look really nice, actually. Calgary might still be pretty good with one of the best goalie tandems in the league.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they just replaced, if you look at it like that, right? Johnny Hockey has now been replaced by Jonathan Huberdeau.
Mm-hmm.
And Mackenzie Weegar on the blue line. Kind of similar game to Matthew Tkachuk. I don't know. I'd rather have Weegar on my team than Tkachuk personally, but that's just me. We know how I feel about the Tkachuks. But that's a crazy one. That's pretty big.
Wow.
Big if true.
What do you mean if true? It's literally just
That's just the phrase, dude. That's just the phrase.
So the Flames...
You get zonked?
Holy shit. Wow. So the Flames got Huberdeau Weegar, a prospect Cole Schwindt, and a conditional first-round pick in the 2025. And then the Panthers got Tkachuk, conditional fourth-round pick. Yeah. So
and a bag of pucks.
And a bag of pucks. That's it, yeah. That's fucking wild. Interesting. Tkachuk set NHL career highs in goals, 42. Wow. That's big.
A lot of dead air right now, buddy.
Yeah, sorry. I'm reading it. I was going to tell you today, and I totally forgot to text you. I was like, it was in the beginning of this week that there was talk about Matthew Tkachuk trade and actually being finalized by the end of the week. Mm-hmm. And I totally it hit me this morning. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. Something's supposed to happen. And I totally forgot to text you. And then when I read it, I was like, oh, that's right.
I saw it, and it mentioned a lot of St. Louis. I saw a lot of St. Louis stirrings, like he wants to get back to his hometown, things like that. I didn't, at the beginning of the episode, typing up the notes, I didn't want to mention it because it's Friday. It's almost midnight now, just so you guys know. It's July 22nd. They said it would be finalized by the end of the week, and I'm like, maybe not at this point. I was just going to leave it. But that's nuts. That's cool that it broke while we record. Friday nights, I guess it's a good night to get a deal done.
I guess so.
But let's move on to a more boring team here. San Jose Sharks have signed goalie Kaapo Kähkönen to a 2-year, $5.5 million contract, a $2.75 million AAV.
Nice.
Sick.
Sick.
All right.
Moving on.
Seattle Kraken have signed left winger Andrei Burakovsky to a 5-year, $27.5 mil contract, $5.5 mil AAV, and they brought in goalie Martin Jones to a 1-year, $2 million contract.
Seattle Kraken's been making some moves here. I like it. They need to. After their unfortunate draft that they had. Yeah.
Oh, the expansion draft? Is that what you mean? Yeah, I don't know. They just didn't do it right. I mean, we've talked a lot about that, but bringing Burakovsky over is huge. That's a pretty tough last name to say. Yeah. Left winger, 22 goals last year, 61 points. I mean, that's pretty good production, but he's coming from one of the best teams in the league, so we'll see what he does in Seattle.
Mm-hmm. And Martin Jones, sorry, we literally just said don't cough into the mic. Sorry. Well, it's all this talking. It's all this trades. It's all the signs. But yeah, Martin Jones, now that we were just talking about him not being there in Philadelphia, here he is with Seattle Kraken. So we'll
Very
see.
Similar team.
Yep, exactly. So I got nothing else to add to that, but want to go to the St. Louis Blues because you thought Matthew Tkachuk was going to go there.
Yeah, maybe this is why he didn't. They locked up their center Robert Thomas to an 8-year, $65 million contract, $8.13 mil AAV. Defenseman Nick Leddy was locked in 4 years, $16 mil contract, $4 mil AAV. And they signed goaltender Thomas Greiss to a 1-year, $1.3 million contract.
Nice. I like it. Nick Leddy, Robert Thomas, well deserving of that. I really like Robert Thomas for the St. Louis Blues.
I think good numbers for both of those guys too. Yeah. I think you're paying Thomas a long tenured contract that's gonna, really perform for you over the years. Yeah. I think he's a great guy to lock up for that kind of term.
And we're seeing a lot of 1-year lockups for like decent / solid backups. That's what we're seeing as of late, especially today.
Yeah, I think teams just don't want to get tied to goalies anymore because of how hot and cold they can get in general.
Right, exactly.
Tampa Bay Lightning loves their team, though. We got 3 8-year contracts that are inked up here. 2 defensemen. We got Mikhail Sergachev, 8-year, $68 million, $8.5 mil AAV. Defenseman Eric Chernak, 8 years, $41.6 mil contract, $5.2 AAV. Christ. And Anthony Cirelli, 8-year, $50 mil contract, $6.2 mil AAV.
I love their guys. I like Sergachev. Definitely the money he deserves.
Mm-hmm. He's going to be the next Victor Hedman.
Oh, yeah.
Like, as Hedman fades out a little bit, Sergachev's going to fill his boots quick.
Right. And he's going to be, like, the more offensive version of Victor Hedman. And then, Anthony Cirelli. I mean, there's not really much to add here. You just see the names. Sergachev, Cirelli, Cernak. You're like, yeah, no, they deserve it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay, just like how they've been doing, especially with the Colorado Avalanche, just trying to stay the exact same.
And I feel like they're very in tune with where their players' stock values are. Like, a guy like Andre Palat, he overperformed. He did so well in the playoffs and everything, but at a certain point, we can't pay a guy that deserves to get paid, so go get paid, buddy. You know what I mean? Like, we don't want to lowball you.
Mm-hmm.
So they're ready and willing to walk away from guys at certain points, too.
Yep.
And not in a bad way either, I don't think. Like, I don't think Palat left on poor terms,
No, I don't think so either. Moving on from them, we have the Toronto Maple Leafs. They signed Cal Yarncroc to a 4-year, $8.4 million contract, which is $2.1 million AAV. And they also signed goalie Ilya Samsonov to a 1-year, $1.8 million contract, and defenseman Jordy Ben to a 1-year, $750,000 contract.
Yikes.
Yarncroc's
pretty good. They're getting kind of old with Jordy Ben, I think. It's just a weird mix there, and Samsonov and Murray backing it up. Like, I'm just not confident in this team.
That's what was going through my head. I was just like, all right, so you have Matt Murray and Ilya Samsonov as your tandem.
And the next team on the list, too, Vancouver Canucks picking up their Ilya, right wing Ilya Mikheyev, a 4-year, $19 mil contract, $4.75 mil AAV. He was one of their better prospects. He was doing really well with the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think they just ran out of cap space and couldn't really fit this guy in. You bring in a Cal Yarncroc and hope that he kind of replaces Mikheyev, but it's just two different kinds of players, in my opinion.
What's Vancouver missing, by the way? They have. I feel like they have the guys. Brock Besser.
Yeah, they were one of those teams that brought everything in, and they had this like hodgepodge group, and they just couldn't like click and get the chemistry going.
Mm-hmm.
I think Braden Holtby kind of let them down quite a bit too with the performance that he had when they brought him over. If he really stood on his head and made something out of everything, I think it could have been a really good team.
Mm-hmm.
But when you bring in all these different free agents and try and make a big melting pot on a team, sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does in the case of the Vegas Golden Knights and the band of misfits when they first came into the league.
Right, 100%. And they also have what was I going to say? I think Thatcher Demko is like really finding his spot. Like he's like we just talked about, like Massachusetts colleges. Like he came straight from BC. Like these guys are just fucking ready to go. And he came right to Vancouver and was figuring it out. I think Thatcher Demko learned from like two of the best. I think he learned from Ryan Miller when he was in Vancouver. He learned from Braden Holtby when he was in Vancouver. I think he's learning from like one of the best, and I think we're gonna see him really become one of the best in the West, at least.
Demko, you think?
Yep.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, think about who's out west now. Like, Colorado is one of the best teams out there. They don't really have the goaltending now. Francouz, like, he's not going to outshine Demko, I don't think.
Nope.
Go to Edmonton. They got a weird situation going on there.
Weird situation.
Go to Calgary. He's probably not going to outshine those two guys. I think Calgary has really good goaltending.
Yeah, Vladar.
And Vladar. I mean, and then you go to California. None of those guys are going to do it. Seattle. Grubauer didn't get it done. Jones didn't get it done.
Yeah,
right?
Right. Yep.
So, I mean, probably St. Louis, but Binnington's hot and cold. Who's the backup there now? It's just, I think he has a really good shot to be one of the best goalies out west.
Yep, 100%.
It's weird.
Yep.
And that's a weird thing to say, don't you think? Like,
yeah, it
looking
is.
at the West from last season.
And be like Thatcher Demko. Meanwhile, you got guys like Jonathan Quick.
You could probably put good money on him to have a breakout year.
Who? Demko?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
If the team works.
I would love to see it. Great goalie.
But at the same token, like, Vancouver hasn't done much this offseason, and they weren't good last year.
Yeah.
So maybe. I don't know. It's a gamble.
They need something to
gamble.
click. They just need something to click. All right, we got 3 more teams left. Let's do it. Let's go to your team. You can do your team.
I don't really want to be associated with these guys anymore. The Vegas Golden Knights have signed right winger Riley Smith to a 3-year, $15 million contract of $5 million AAV.
I thought you said day one fan.
Day one fan, yeah, and then they just fire sold everyone and just had no loyalty. They don't give a shit, dude.
Give a shit about
that agent picture of Fleury getting stabbed in the back was the downfall of this organization.
100%.
Right? That was like what did them in.
Yep. We'll be talking about that pretty soon after this.
I think $5 million for Riley Smith is a decent contract. This team's not going to go too far, I don't think. I think Eichel is just going to get screwed into another Buffalo situation right now. Mm-hmm. Another organization that doesn't give a shit about him.
Nope.
Not
at all. I think he thought Jack Eichel went in there.
Dude, he had the right plan. Like, that team was locked and loaded. We were like, hell yeah. If Eichel goes to this team, they could make a run. And then everything went to shit.
Yeah. And then,
crazy.
Yeah. Then Vegas just like,
imploded.
You're just a number. Get out of here,
Yeah.
Yep. So, moving on. Last 2, we got the Washington Capitals. They signed Dylan Strome to a 1-year, $3.5 million contract. And I got nothing to add to that. I think it's a pretty decent sign right there, $3.5 million.
It's a weird one for you to chuck in there. 4 years with the Blackhawks, 67 goals, 170 points. I know nothing about this guy.
Yep. So we're going to move on. They get the last one, the Winnipeg Jets. They signed Pierre-Luc Dubois to a 1-year, $6 million contract, and goalie Eric Comrie to a 2-year, $3.6 million. 2-year, $3.6 million contract, $1.8 million AAV. I like this. I like this move for Eric Comrie. Eric Comrie is like all over the place. Like what am I trying to say here? He's like AHL, then NHL for like a few games, and then AHL. But I think he's just a solid goaltender all around. I think he had his big time was with the Winnipeg Jets, I think.
Yeah, he does kind of get shafted quite a bit, up, down, up, down. I mean, he really had like 1 to 3 games a few times up in the NHL, and they really just hadn't gone well. Mm-hmm. The last year, the 21-22 season is when it actually worked. Mm-hmm. 19 games played, 2.5 and a .920. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking to myself, you got Thatcher Demko, 26 years old, over in Vancouver, and we have Connor Hellebuyck, 29, in Winnipeg. Who is going to have a better year this year? And before you put your pick in, Hellebuck's stats last year, 2.97 and a .910. Demko 2.72 and a 9.15.
Oof. You'd have to say, if the Vancouver Canucks can't get their shit together, you would have to just sit there and say Connor Hellebuyck.
Winnipeg looked like shit last year too, though. I think both of these teams had a shit year. I'm gonna make a list of random picks that we're gonna add to our list for this season. Who are you picking? Who's gonna have a better season, Hellebuyck or Demko? Okay.
All right, what else are you going to ask me?
That's it. We'll make a list of them, and then at the beginning of the season, we'll have a bunch of shit to track for next season and see where we're standing.
I love it.
Yeah.
So that is it with the signings and the trades.
I did want to chime in real quick too on Pierre-Luc Dubois. Sorry,
Okay,
I got
yep,
sidetracked on the goaltending. 1 year, $6 million contract. This struck me as odd. I heard that he wasn't too thrilled about Winnipeg. It was kind of like Columbus Senior, and he kind of got hosed in that trade for Patrick Laine. Like, you're not happy here, he's not happy here. Let's make a wife swap. And 1 year, $6 million doesn't promise me anything at all. If this guy was enjoying himself and having fun with this team, I think he would have had a 3 to 5 year contract for roughly the same amount of money. So kind of weird to see a 1 year, $6 million contract, but let's hope that this is a year that he can have a breakout year and determine which way his career is going to go.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I got.
Oh, I like your take on that. Interesting. I didn't think that way.
And I think I'm going to be on board with you on Hellebuck.
Okay. 2 Hellebucks.
Let's do it.
All right, so with all the UFAs and signs and everything going on, we have a top UFAs to see signed, and this is our personal list that we have. So far, these guys have not been signed. Maybe by next week they'll be signed, but we have forwards Nazem Kadri, Evan Rodriguez, Phil Kessel, Joe Thornton, Alex Galchenyuk, and Paul Stastny. Then you have defensemen PK Subban, Keith Yandel, and John Klingberg, and goalies Jack LaFontaine and Harry Sateri. Harry Sateri was the backup for Vejmelka. It's Vejmelka for the Arizona Coyotes, and I think he did a solid. I think it was great. So I would like to see him. We're just talking about them picking up like good backups, like all the teams. And so
I'm not interested in either of these goalies.
No, only thing. Jack LaFontaine, the only reason why I am interested to see where he is because he was the one that came from, good God, am I going to butcher this? The Minnesota Gophers, right? And then he went to the Carolina Hurricanes because they're just like, quick, like we'll give you this contract to go to the Carolina Hurricanes. And yeah.
2 games for the Hurricanes, 7.2 and a .780.
Yep. And they just let him go instantly. It was just such a quick, you're just a number, you weren't ready for this. And I'm like, I don't know, mentally, you weren't ready for that. Why did you take that move? But,
yeah, it's nuts. He was in the A for a little bit too, a 2.89 and a .885 for Chicago, and that's not great either. Yep. 2 games in the ECHL this season, a 3.49 and a .922. So I mean, he just needed to, a little bit more time to develop. He can run that ECHL league if he keeps that play up.
Yeah. He jumped the gun.
That's kind of nuts, too. 83 saves in 2 games in the ECHL, so averaging 41.5 shots a game, 3.49 GAA. That's not great, but, I mean, that number of shots. And a .922 save percentage is pretty fucking good.
Good, yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking at the Nazem Kadri name, and I'm thinking that he's going to stick with Colorado. Phil Kessel, I don't know what he's going to do. He's definitely going to keep playing. Keith Yandel, I don't know. He might be done. I think he probably does still want to play. I don't know if anyone's going to pick him up.
I'll be interested to see what happens. Him and Joe Thornton are the 2 I'm interested to see what happens.
I think Thornton might announce his retirement. I think he might be sick of cup chasing. But, I mean, that guy's a competitor. He loves being in the locker room, so maybe I'm wrong. But I could see him calling it.
Another Yager.
Yeah. I don't know about Phil Kessel, man. I mean, it'd be kind of nice to see him go back to Pittsburgh with all the guys.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I would love that.
Kind of cool. I want to see where Klingberg goes. He's the most interesting one to me, honestly. I'm excited to see what he decides to do. He was nasty for the Dallas Stars last season.
Paul Stastny on this list is is good. And Evan Rodriguez, excellent player for the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm shocked he's just kind of just sitting there. I like his stats, Evan Rodriguez. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe something happens next week, and we'll be talking about all these guys getting signed or not. I don't know what the hell's going on. But these are the UFAs that I thought were interesting.
LA, San Jose, and Anaheim, sneaky quiet offseason. I feel like they haven't done all that much. California is not looking to grow too much.
No.
I'd like to see Klingberg end up over there. It's very similar market to Dallas, and I think he could do pretty well in one of those 3 teams. Imagine seeing Klingberg on like LA or Anaheim. I think that'd be sick.
Ooh.
I'd like that.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
That's all I got. All right, so we're done with the signings and the trades, and we got other hockey news that we're going to talk about, and I want to jump back to the whole Vegas Golden Knights situation that we've talked about throughout this entire episode so far. So, the Vegas Golden Knights, a large number, in quotes, of players are refusing to sign to the organization because of their management. After the way the Golden Knights handled the Fleury situation, Alex Pietrangelo, right, signing, and now the Max Pacioretty trade, Players have become hesitant, and according to multiple NHL executives, Vegas takes the "it's a business" motto to an extreme level. These claims have been confirmed by an article by The Athletic, where an NHL player agent shared this statement: "Vegas treats you until they don't. They've gone from the team of opportunity, the golden misfits or whatever, to the evil empire. As an agent, you have to warn your guy that he's expendable as soon as his salary doesn't fit the plan. Look at what happened with Marc-Andre Fleury. I think as long as they win, they'll avoid problems. But if they have a losing season, watch out." Which is crazy to say from, like... Can you imagine your agent being like, "I don't know, if you want to go here, just make sure that..."
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, the writing's on the walls. The player sees it. And, I mean, the fact that people are refusing to sign with the organization is bad news for the Vegas Golden Knights. They're going to have a tough couple of years coming up if they keep doing this. And, I mean, in general, just poor asset management, just trading away Max Pacioretty for nothing when you gave away Thomas Tatar, Nick Suzuki, guys like that, to bring in certain guys and just get nothing in return at the end of the day. Like, and just so weird.
A call back to what you said earlier, where you just like that whole picture up with Fleury's getting backstabbed. Yeah, it was like they just mentioned it here with like the whole Fleury situation.
I really think that was the first like wrong step by the organization. It's insane,
and it just for some reason just kept going downhill after that. It's fucking insane. So that's not what I want to talk about. But yeah, there we go. Vegas Golden Knights, bud, your team.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll jump back to Calgary here real quick. Johnny Gaudreau has officially secured the 4th most points in a season before changing teams in the NHL. Gretzky in 87-88 had 149 points. Yager is tied with Marcel Dion, who in 2000 and 2001 had 121 points. Marcel Dion in 74-75 had 121. And Gaudreau, 115 points last season before changing teams.
Wow.
That's so weird to see, isn't it? Like, we talked about this. We mentioned it last week. I'm not even going to say it again. And then about how you never see a guy that's performing really well, like, go right away.
Oh, yeah, just go right away, yeah.
And I was going to talk about how Tkachuk was unhappy with Gaudreau's decision to leave the organization. The one little note that I did want to share was that Calgary reportedly rejected a trade from St. Louis, including Jordan Kyrou, Torrey Krug, and a first for Matthew Tkachuk. So now instead, now that we can compare it, right? Huberdeau, Mackenzie Weegar, and a conditional and a prospect. I don't know. I think it's really about what do you really need? Do you need a top forward or do you need a top defenseman? Because Krug is your top defenseman and Huberdeau is your top forward, right? So I think that's probably how they looked at it. Like, we could really use someone to replace Johnny Gaudreau, and we're pretty okay on the blue line at the end of the day. So I think that's how they looked at that. But initially when I saw that report and they turned down Kyrou, Krug in a first, I'm like, that's fucking insane. Like, I didn't think they were going to get much more for a Matthew Tkachuk.
No.
And then they did. They got even more, I think.
I think they reeled it in. I think they got like ding, 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 ding. Like, wow.
Yeah, hit the lotto.
Yep.
I think, I don't want to say Florida got fleeced, but I think kind of Florida got fleeced here, man, right?
I'm thinking it.
We'll see.
You think Matthew Tkachuk's going to replace both those guys?
No. Well, technically he could, because the game that Weegar brought was a very physical mentality to the Florida Panthers organization. Tkachuk does that, plus some, and gets under the skin of players. Like, he does do that, and he puts the puck in the back of the net. Plus now you're going to put him on a sick line like he was on with Gaudreau this season, had a breakout year. He's going to do the same thing in Florida with some decent line mates,
True.
I don't think he's going to fill into Huberdeau's shoes. No. I think someone else is going to step up and do that on the team, but he'll backfill that second line role and take over. Florida's going to look interesting.
Yeah. I want to know what the hell they look like next season. That'll be an interesting move. Damn, Huberdeau and Weegar for Matthew Tkachuk. That's gonna sit rent free in my head till next season. Be like, just why the hell did you do this?
Just like Tkachuk does to all the players in the NHL, it lives in their head.
This could hurt Florida. I guarantee you, fucking episode 115, we're gonna be like, yep, this whole Matthew Tkachuk trade really not paying off for the Florida Panthers.
I don't know. I think they'll be all right. I think they're pretty like soundproof. You know, they'll float. The ship will float. They'll make the playoffs. I don't know if it'll get them over the hump, but I think they'll be in the same realm. I did have some other bad news here. The Dallas Stars owner, Tom Gagliardi, however the hell you say it, chimed in again on Jamie Benn and Tyler Sagan's performance. He did this a couple seasons ago. He says, quote, with those contracts, they've got to bring more to the table. It hampers the team. It's getting a bit pathetic at this point.
Fun fact for everyone listening in. The owner seemed to have done this literally the day of or the day before Tyler Seguin announced that he's engaged now.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's sick.
What a way to be that. Be like,
Yeah.
hey, want to marry me? And then be like, oh, also my owner thinks I'm a piece of shit.
But I feel like he's done this in the past and singled out those two guys like 2 or 3 years ago, like probably before the COVID bubble. So
Yeah.
I feel like he's done this before, and it's kind of weird. It reminds me of the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones, I think is his name, the owner, and he really gets involved and like has shit to say about the players and drafts and does this weird shit. Like, I don't know. I didn't like this from an owner. Like, as an owner, you usually stay kind of silent, let the GM handle things.
Yeah.
You know. But
Oh,
hey,
yeah, that's right.
maybe
Yeah.
I mean maybe it worked last time. Maybe he's like, hey, last time I did this, I lit a fire under their ass and they
Maybe,
produced. And
Yep.
I don't know, weird time to do that in the middle of July though. If you ask me.
Hey,
Sagan and
Can
Ben
you
are
produce
fucking.
more goals? But like, yeah, wait till the NHL season starts.
Sagan and Ben are kicking by the pool. One of them's on their phone like, oh, you see what Tom said? No, fuck that
Fuck
guy.
that
Just
guy.
drink their beer. Fuck that guy. Sign the check, bitch.
When's our next game again? Yeah, right.
Sign my check.
I got a wedding to pay for.
Yeah.
Moving on, we got the Chicago Blackhawks commentator Eddie Olczyk has left the organization after 15 seasons, so he'll be joining the Seattle Kraken TV team. I like Eddie, I really do. I've completely forgot he's part. All these commentators that I like, I keep forgetting that like they're actually a part of like teams. You know, like you see like a bunch of guys on like NBC and stuff. You're like, oh, I like him. So like in your mind, just like, oh, they're commentators for NBC, but in reality, they're for a team. You know. So I totally forgot he's for Chicago. I do like Eddie. How long? He said 15 years with the organization.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I heard on Chicklets too that he actually applied for one of the GM positions, and when he didn't get it, I think that he didn't get that position. He's seeing the trends of the organization in general, like kind of the bad news that's floating around the team, the cloud. So I think he kind of wanted to get out. I think he has a boy over in Seattle that's doing the other side of the commentation with him. So I think that's part of why he bounced over there.
Interesting.
But pretty cool to see. I like Olczyk a lot. He's been around for a while, and he's one of those iconic voices that just everyone knows, you know?
Seattle Kraken seems to be the new year, new me team. You're like, I want to switch shit around. Let me sign with the Seattle Kraken. See what happens.
We did have a retirement to announce here, too. Andrei Sekera announced his retirement from professional hockey after 842 NHL games, scoring 51 career NHL goals and 253 points for 5 NHL clubs.
Nice.
36 years old. Pretty young for a retirement. He's from Slovakia, actually, too.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Interesting.
I selected 71st overall in 2004. Played with the Sabres, the Hurricanes, 1 year for the Kings, the Oilers, and the Dallas Stars.
No shit.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, enjoy your retirement. 36 years old, retire. What the hell is he going to do?
Go get hair plugs.
Savage.
How about that?
I like that. I like that move. Yeah, dude. Can you imagine retired at 36?
That's sick.
What do you do? Like, your whole life was hockey day in, day out. Now it's just like,
It's a hard thing for those guys to grasp, too. Like, never mind the financial aspect of, like, I live this expense of a lifestyle where I'm used to making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, and I spend that in a month.
yeah.
And now you don't have that cash flow coming in, so now you have to change how you live. And now your entire life has been gym, hockey, ice, hanging out with the guys, worried about your fitness, like everything. Now none of that matters, you know, like at the end of the day. You can find something else to do,
Yeah.
you know, down that road, but
Yeah.
it's not about that anymore, you know? It's now you have to find a way to live. And some of these guys now even think about it, like the 15-year-olds, the 12-year-olds that are like, I'm going to the NHL one day. Like, I know right now that this is going to be my life. And then when they retire, it's like, this is all I know, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
What the
since
hell
I was
do
a
I
young
do?
kid. Yeah. It's definitely a hard thing to grasp, and something that, like, the average everyday person like me and you can't really,
See.
I want to say sympathize with, but we sympathize with it. We don't live that.
We
you
don't
know?
live it. Yeah, it's a different lifestyle altogether.
It's crazy.
Yeah, some guys do it. Like hockey players, you burn so many calories. It's who was I talking to? It was Dave. Bringing him up again. We were just talking about how hockey players, a lot of them retire, and like a year later, you see a photo of them, they're just fat, and it's because
Because they have booze bags.
Either the booze bags or like you're just so used to just eating a lot because you're training in the morning. You got training in the afternoon for something, and
Looking
then
at
you
you,
got
Brett
hockey
Hull.
night. It's just a lot of calories, a lot of carbs, and if you're so used to that for years, like you're like, oh, this is just embedded into me. Now they're eating all this and not burning it as much as it is. I saw Mark Recchi is he's a coach for the Boston Pride, I think, like an assistant coach, and like I saw him, like, Jesus Christ, dude, you look like a hockey dad, you know?
Jesus, dude.
Like if
Savage.
you looked at me and said like, hey, I'm Mark Recchi, I'm like, no, you're not.
You probably walked by him at Thayer. Remember the day that you said, "Oh, I walked by this guy or whatever."
Oh,
at the Thayer rink.
I walked by Ryan Donato.
And that's the Pride's practice facility. So Recchi was probably there. You walked right by him, be like, "Oh my God, that was Ryan Donato." I'm Mark fucking Recchi.
Recchi, what do you mean? No, you're Ryan Donato, bud. Yeah, Ryan Donato is a huge individual, by the way. I had to like look up.
Yeah, a lot of those guys are big boys,
big lads. All right, well, this is our last thing that we got to talk about this week, and I'll have you do the honors.
Yeah, so Anaheim Ducks. I thought this was a pretty moving little event here. This is at development camp. Anaheim Ducks head coach Dallas Eakins and the team had a few great words to say about their prospect, Will Francis. He actually just overcame his battle with leukemia. It was something along the lines of 842 days. Very cool, very moving to see. I mean, Eakins basically said, like, you guys think you've had a hard day in your life. Like, you haven't had a hard day like Will Francis has, and he's had a lot of them. So I thought it was pretty cool to see. The boys loved it, and it was a cool little video.
Yeah, it was a cool little video. Everyone gave him a round of applause after he talked about ringing the bell, which is awesome.
Yeah, I think that's a cool little thing that everyone that beats cancer gets to do.
Yeah,
symbolizes a lot for a lot of people. Means a lot to them. But man, to be a professional athlete and to beat cancer and come back and play, like, that's insane.
That's huge.
The toll that takes on your body, never mind chemotherapy, radiation, all that stuff. Like,
holy
and
shit.
then to be one of the most physically fit people in the world and play in a league with the best athletes in the world, like, that's so impressive.
That is like professional, like, right there. That's like a different human breed right there.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane. You see people who go through chemotherapy, they'll be like the size of us, you know, and they just like they go through the chemo and just like all of a sudden they're like 150, 170 pounds. It's insane.
Yeah.
So to go through that and then just
get in the gym and
get back in the gym
weights
and
around.
get back to where you're at it's fucking amazing. But yeah, you're right. Like, you go through chemo, like, your body's just not the same afterwards. Like, you still, like, I think the testosterone for you is, like, still very low. I think Phil Kessel was talking about that with his testicular cancer. I think he's on something for his testosterone. So, like, it's going to be with him for, like, unfortunately, the rest of his life, I think, with, like, low testosterone, low all this. But the fact that he's still able to, like, just swing back is just amazing. Incredible.
Yeah.
So, yep. Anything else?
No. Smirnoff Green Apple Sour.
Oof.
That's it.
I saw these. I was like, "Is that green?" And he's like, "It's sour apple." I'm like, "All right, well, let's do it." I don't know what the hell my face is gonna be like after this. I'm gonna tell you.
This might be good.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Up the street, the Packy that you have, he's got. When I say the front end is like a massive, pretty much like desk of like all different nips, and it's like 200 plus of them. And I'm going through and I'm just like, what have we not tried before? I'm like, we have tried almost all of these.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, we're doing pretty good.
We're doing really good. There's a few that I kind of refuse to do.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's good. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
I saw this. I'm like, this is reasonable.
This is approachable.
Yep.
That's fine.
Happy episode 79. Got anything else?
Let's do it.
I got nothing.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh. Wow. Okay. Yep. Oh man, they kept the sour there. I'll tell you that much.
Dude, the sugar was good, but the sour is like in my mouth a lot and like heartburn in my stomach, like low.
I don't have that. Like, the sour is like in my cheeks. Oh man. Wow. Question: would you rather that or the Jello shots?
Jello shots.
Really?
Yeah. I think we got to do
another
Jello
question. Would you rather these or cold Jello shots?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. We got to pull them out of the freezer an hour earlier.
Yeah.
Probably still the cold Jello shots. I would rather this.
I'd rather this.
No, I would rather this over the Baijiu. And I've never tasted the Baijiu.
Well, we
the
never
Asian
had the
liquor.
Baijiu.
Yeah, I would rather this over that. I'm not drinking that.
Want to do a shot of Baijiu next week?
No, I do not. You can. I'm not.
We need to do like a crazy. Be like, if this happens, what the hell am I trying to say here? Like,
If we land like a sick contract, we should do like hot sake.
that's good.
Right? That's a good idea.
I've had cold and hot. Did I tell you my sake story
Yes,
from Japan?
you've told us your sake story
Hammered.
from Japan.
Hammered. No, we need to do some kind of bet, like something insane.
Oh, for the end of the season?
Maybe for the end of the season.
Dude, know what we should do?
Whoever loses has to do a shot of Baijiu.
Oh, that's disgusting. I'm not doing that. We should make it'll be. Have you seen Rusty Ranks Beers on Friday Beers?
No.
Oh, he's hilarious. I'll show you after this. Everyone that hasn't seen it, Friday Beers, fucking amazing. Great content.
Instagram.
This guy's Rusty Ranks Beers, and his original thing before he signed with Friday Beers, he's one of their guys now. He would drink. He's like, "Hi, welcome back to another episode of Rusty Ranks Beers, where I drink 12 of them, and I let you know what I think." So he'll drink like 12, and he'll check in like every 4 beers, and he gets like shit-faced through it. He's like, "It's pretty good, man. Like Yingling, don't know what to say. 8.2." Hilarious. I think that we should do picks through the season, and we'll tally them up at the end, and whoever, like, they'll cancel out with each other, right? If you have 58 wins and I have, I don't know, 42 wins, right?
Yeah.
There's a difference of 16. I have to do, like, I don't know, 16 shots in an episode or something like that.
Shitting me?
16 beers, something.
We'd be hammered.
Yeah, I know. That's why it'd be cool.
Bad things happen when we're hammered. We found that out in one of our original episodes. We can't be doing that.
But then what you can do to make up for it, right? If I'm looking at the season and I'm like, shit, dude, season's coming to a close. I'm 16 in the hole. You just start firing picks and just start picking like a degenerate every game and trying to catch back up to you and dig myself into a deeper hole. And then I have to do 30 or something like that. We'll figure this out. This will be amazing. This will be great content.
Oh, just
Capital C content.
I'll do it.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure something out. Something cool like that.
Oh,
something to do with picks or like, I don't know, bets.
I'll do it.
We doing the 999 challenge?
No, we're not doing that ever again.
Ever again? We've never done it.
Oh, I talked about I'm thinking of the 99 shots.
Oh, those are fine.
I wasn't a fan of those.
They're right.
Those are the banana that I was like, what the puke?
Yeah.
No bueno. All right. You want to call us out?
Yeah, you don't want to call us out anymore?
Why? I started off, really?
Okay. I'm just saying, I feel like I call out every week.
Yeah, I figured like that's the routine now.
All right, cool. Thanks, everyone, for listening. If there's anything you want to see us cover next episode, let us know. Our links are in the description, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye, guys.
Peace.